Hey everyone, I'm Tanisha. Welcome to my channel, The Monarch Wise Woman. It's been a long while since I've done a video on here, so apologies for that. It has been hectic. For a change, I haven't actually gone into hermit mode because a lot of the time that was the reason, going to deep self-reflection and hermit mode and sort of off of social media and everything like that for a little while before I would do another video. This time it's been just hectic in my life and just trying to get things into balance to be able to do these videos, and I also don't want to make any promises as to how often I'll be posting until I've sorted that out now as well. So I'm just going to try and post as often as I can for you guys. So I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in my life, and then we'll get into today's topic. So obviously, for those of you that know me, I'm a mum of 3. I'm currently studying animal studies at TAFE as well. And I now have actually started a few side hustles as well, so that I'm able to keep these videos really authentic and not have to try and appeal to the algorithm as much to, you know, get my information around. So one of the side hustles is my Patreon, which I will link in the description below. And on my Patreon, I have spells. I currently have a protection spell there. These are my own created spells. And I will be putting on tonight a generational curse breaking spell. So I won't spend ages talking about that spell, but I just want to talk about it quickly because it's been such a powerful spell in my life. Beware, if you do purchase the spell and choose to do it, it will unlock so many memories for you of past lives and who you truly are as a multifaceted soul, because it is a generational curse breaking spell. Not only will it unlock that for you, you'll see crazy synchronicities around you that are confirming those past lives for you, and even meet some people who may have shared those past lives with you. That's been my experience. You know, everyone's experience with spells is different, but that's just some of the things that you could look forward to by purchasing that spell. And it's needed more now than ever, because, you know, people need to wake up to truly who they are and truly how powerful they are. And that's really what I want to do on this channel, is free you from those fears, those generational patterns and curses and suppression over your lineage, and empower you to make the changes to your own life that you need to make, or the changes in this world, whatever your mission is. Now, another thing that I've been doing for a long time, and I've been talking about on these videos, is I've been doing negative entity cleansings, and I've been doing card readings, intuitive card readings for people. But I've only just started charging for it now. Again, like I said, it's to support myself so that I'm able to continue to do these videos for free as well. And just, you know, obviously support myself in general, as well as help people that are going through this, because I've seen like an uprise in the amount of negative entities that are in people's homes recently. And as I've talked about in my previous videos, I believe this is because of the shift that we're going through and the unearthing of all of these darker shadow energies that we need to face as well. The card readings, I thought about doing them on here, like for everyone, but again, I don't want it to become more about the algorithm than authentic readings. So I prefer to do them one-on-one, and my readings aren't going to be telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So I'm not going to be catering to ego, I'm going to be catering to soul, as I've talked about in one of my previous videos about card readings as well. Now, the link to my Facebook for those services will be in the description below as well. So let's get on to today's topic. Today's topic is about what I've seen and what I've observed during my experience with cleansing negative entities, I did a video a while back on negative entities and the different types that I've come across, and I just wanted to mention what I'm observing because I feel like it hasn't been said, but it needs to be said. It may be controversial or triggering, and I'm not trying for it to be that way. So I'm going to do it as delicately as possible, but I have to be authentic with you guys. I have to tell you what I've observed, because as I said, my whole point in this channel is to free you from fear, to empower you. And so I have to let you know of the things that may be keeping you oppressed and in this fear. And so what I've observed is people that are following the Abrahamic religions are having like a massive oppressive energy over them. And this is because of certain beliefs within those systems. I've talked about this specific thing a lot, how there are positives in this belief system. And the positives are, you know, the teaching of love God and love your neighbor as though you would love yourself. And, you know, the teachings that bring more love and compassion and understanding for each other and move us forward and evolve us as souls. They're great teachings. But there's also the other side of the equation, which is saying that if you're not perfect, if you don't follow the rules perfectly, you know, you deserve to burn in hell, tortured for all eternity. There's not enough focus on God's love for us, and there's too much focus on how imperfect we are and how much we deserve to be punished. And I don't believe that's by accident, guys. So when I'm speaking about what I've observed, I want you to keep in mind, I'm not saying every single person of this religion is this way, because I've met plenty of open-minded Catholics and Christians who, over anything else, follow the teachings of love and don't judge others and are lovely people. I've even had some of you that might come from that background comment on my channel, usually telling me, you know, to stray away from the occult and to come over to Christianity or to come over to your God. And although that's never going to happen because I have explored that path and it's not for me, for a lot of the reasons I'm about to mention now, I've taken from it what I needed and what I felt will help evolve me and help me become the best version of myself, as well as help me help others become the best version of themselves. So it's not like I'm looking at your comment and I'm just being closed-minded and being like, no, I'm not going over to that side. It's the fact that I've actually looked into it and explored it myself already. But I can really appreciate that a lot of you are coming from a place of love, and I can feel, you know, your energy, which is of love towards me, when you're trying to get me to go to your side. And I can feel that you just want me to know God's love. And I want to assure you that I already know the Divine Mother and Father's love, and I already have that love in my life, and I'm really happy with the path that I'm on. So I digress a little bit, which if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I tend to do that. So let's get back on topic. So yeah, I've observed this mass energy of oppression over these people. And these people are constantly having demonic attacks. And I'm not talking about like a few demonic attacks here and there. I'm talking about constantly. And then while I do believe some things are negative entity attacks, I do believe we have to apply logic as well. And some things can be explained with logic. But because of this fear energy, because of the teachings that I've mentioned, everything is seen as a demonic attack, and therefore everything kind of does become a demonic attack, and it creates this one big mass of energy over them, this fear, this oppression, which constantly has them under that attack. So then they use tools from their own religion to try and combat this energy. And for a while I was thinking that it was only the intention that mattered. It didn't matter what religion we were, as long as our intention was strong and those tools made us feel protected, then I would go with whatever religion that person wanted myself, and I would just be there to enhance that energy with them and make that intention stronger. But what I came to notice was they would, do the prayer to Yahweh or Jesus, or, whatever prayers were in the Bible that they felt like would help them. They would call out to that God. And I noticed that this energy would get angry, and you could feel that. And then it would lessen. So it would seem like this had worked, right? But then it would come back again. And so the cycle would continue, and they'd be having these constant demonic attacks, be doing the prayers, be doing everything to protect them, but it would continue, right? It didn't completely ever stop. And so I would not feel right about continuing to charge to do these cleansings, because no matter how many times I cleansed the energy outside of them, it was just going to keep coming back from within them because of this massive fear belief that they had. And often it's not conscious, it's a subconscious fear that's been put in because of these teachings. And so I'm not telling you to give up those beliefs completely. If some of those beliefs from those religions you feel like are making you the best version of you, are helping yourself, are helping others, but I'm telling you to examine the parts that don't, and instead keep you oppressed and in fear and powerless and self-hating because you believe that you're sinful and you deserve to be punished. I'm telling you to examine those beliefs, because the lie that we've been told is that we need to just fit ourselves into one box, one religion, one way of being, when really to evolve and gain knowledge and understanding and be the best version and the most whole version of ourselves that we can be, it's best for us to explore everything. And that doesn't mean saying yes to everything and that everything's going to resonate with us, but exploring it with an open mind. And so once you have examined if you may be having these kinds of beliefs either consciously or subconsciously, I would suggest to work on those beliefs with a psychologist, but also to do some shadow work on those beliefs. And I do have a video about shadow work as well, because, as I said, there's no point on me doing a cleansing on the outside if those beliefs are going to keep projecting from the inside. Now, the other thing I've got to discuss in relation to this is that the word religion in Latin literally means to bind, okay? So binding, think of binding spell. So essentially, if you've been a part of religion and you've been taught those beliefs and you believe those beliefs, you are binding yourself to it. And so this is why when you're getting these negative entity attacks and you're using tools from that religion to get rid of it, it's not working, because all you're doing is further binding yourself to those negative beliefs about yourself. And although it's going to seem like it worked because there's a part of you that believes you've protected yourself, there's still that part of you that believes you deserve it. And you are bound to that repetitively. So, the way that I would suggest to deal with this situation, if this is you, is to rebuke that binding over you that is binding you to those beliefs. And focus on using your own power during the cleansing instead of looking to any deity outside of yourself. Because this breaks the binding that you have over you to this deity that is telling you that you need it and are unworthy without it. By focusing on the power that comes from you, you are enhancing the beliefs about yourself being worthy and loved and powerful. And every time you do that, it breaks the binding that is binding you to these other beliefs. That is also where my generational curse breaking spell would probably come in handy as well, because again, it's breaking curses over you, it's breaking bindings over you. And so it's like what I was saying as well, a lot of people that may be starting to question things that they were taught in those religions and deconstruct, find that even though they're questioning and they're deconstructing, they've got such that strong fear that they can't leave it, or they can't explore anything else still. And so this would help you if you are that sort of person. If you are a person that is just comfortable in that religion, you know, this isn't for you. But for anyone who is struggling with that fear and that lack of self-worth that's created by those beliefs, this is what I would recommend. Because the more you enforce how powerful you are, how worthy you are, how loved you are, just for being you, the less these attacks are going to occur, because the attacks are happening because of those beliefs. Whether it is that you are projecting this energy outwards, or other negative entities are feeding on that and coming in, they're not going to be gotten rid of or cleansed until we deal with that main issue. And if you are someone that is comfortable in your religion and doesn't want to examine or question anything, and you are having demonic attacks, then I would recommend for you to go through, you know, your own procedures with priests and, you know, exorcisms if it's that full on. But that's if you are comfortable in your religion and you're not starting to question those beliefs and you don't believe you have, you know, this strong fear. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying really hard to be respectful of all people while getting my point across, because this is a point that just needs to be shared, because I'm seeing so many people suffer unnecessarily because of this. The other point that I wanted to make as well is that these bindings that are holding you in this fear sometimes don't just stem from this lifetime. They can stem from multiple lifetimes, which means the bindings are really strong. And so what I was saying about intention of protection before, we need an equally strong intention to break these bindings. And so that's why, you know, we may need to do the work on empowering ourselves more than once, because it may be more than once that we were bound to this fear belief. My aim is that you don't have to do it that many times at all. You know, I want the negative entity experiences to stop for you. And I want you to be able to do that as quick as possible. If you're not examining those beliefs, I believe you could be dealing with it forever. I can help you do this with my services, and this is probably not a good thing to say business-wise, but I'm going to say it because I promised you guys I would be authentic and real with you. You don't need me to do it. You are capable of doing it yourself. And if people start to believe that, then I've done my job, because that's what I want. I want you to believe in the power of yourself. Now, that was a lot. So to end this video on a positive note, a while back, I did a video explaining what I believed the divine plan for a lot of New Age spiritual people going into Christianity and going into these Abrahamic religions was for, like the purpose that this was happening for. There, I believe, was an agenda from the powers that were to try and control people that had stopped being controlled through this fear. But there's always a divine plan that ends up making the agenda work to our favor. And so how the agenda has been flipped on its head, and this is working to our favor now, is I am witnessing so much more open-minded, beautiful, loving people in this religion. And they are accepting me and my beliefs, and I am accepting them and their beliefs. And what I really want you to focus on is the division that they were trying to cause between everyone, which included Christians against witches, both in ancient times and they're trying to do it today as well, is not working, because we've all realized we have more in common than we don't. So although our beliefs may be different, although the gods we talk to may be different, although the practices may be different, one thing that most of us all want is love, peace, the end of division, the sickos in this world to be held accountable, and justice to be served as well. And just imagine how powerful we could all be if we worked together instead of fought each other. Just imagine how many positive changes that we could make in this world if we acknowledge that we have our differences, but we have more in common than we do different, and we really do want the same thing. Because the version of witchcraft that the powers that were is showing is an inverted version. It's not the truth. Because most of us that I know are here as guardians of Mother Earth. We want to protect Mother Earth and all her children, not destroy it. And this is what you're seeing put in front of you as the representation of witchcraft. But we could probably get into that topic in a lot more detail in another video. So that's the note I want to leave you with, that if you are going through fear based on these beliefs, those are some things that can help you empower yourself and break those bindings. And if you are in a state of fear about how things have been looking between, New Age and religion and witches and religion, and the amount of division that's going on, I want you to feel hopeful, because I've seen a change in how it is between a lot of Christians and witches now, and the accepting of each other. Not necessarily the agreeing with each other's beliefs, but just the loving and accepting of each other anyway. And that's what the new world, the shift is going to be going forward, is that it's going to be a lot more about love between each other and accepting each other's differences and realizing that we're really more similar and we really do all want the same things. the big scheme of things, we all want the same thing. Now, also what I said before about you not needing me because you're powerful enough to, you know, defend yourself against these negative entities yourself and to do this shadow work yourself. What I should have said is you don't need anyone because you are that powerful. Okay, you don't need anyone. You don't need anything. You don't actually need any outside deities even to help you do this. There's nothing wrong with feeling more protected or feeling like you want that help, but you need to know first that it comes from you, okay? And they are just helpers there for you. Similar to if someone broke into your house, right? And you fought them, you might be more powerful if you have other people there fighting that person off as well. But at your full strength and at your full power, you're probably very capable of protecting yourself. And the same goes for you in a spiritual sense. With the spirit world, you are powerful and capable of protecting yourself. Sometimes it can help to have that outside help as well. But I feel like you really need to know your own power within yourself before you go asking for the outside help, because, you know, you can be taken advantage of if you're relying on someone else fully or something else fully and not knowing your own power and that you're in charge. Last of all, just quickly before I go, I was starting to do rituals, live rituals that were to protect the children of this world and protect and defend against negative things that are happening, because I did explain that spell work, rituals, is moving the energy through the earth and then into the physical and into the action against those things. So I was starting to do them, and I did do it live on my Patreon, but then I was having a bit of technical difficulties with that. So I've decided I'm probably just going to do those live rituals on this channel now. But I can't give you a day that I'm going to be doing them just yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do a post on here to let you know when I'm going to go live with those rituals. I also love it when you guys comment on the videos, because the discussion is what creates understanding and change between us all and moves us forwards and evolves us and, you know, just helps create that understanding. So even if you disagree with me, I want to hear from you. As long as you're respectful about it, I will reply to you and I'll either agree or disagree, but I will be respectful about it too. If you are disrespectful, I will remove the comment though. So thank you for your patience in staying subscribed and waiting for another video. I really appreciate that. And I hope that this information has been helpful to you on your journey. And if you could like, share the message around, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my next video, that would be greatly appreciated. Have a lovely day or night wherever you are.